Hello everyone, this is Domina Mara and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I am a female dominant who creates cinematic short films, educational videos of female-led dynamics, travel vlogs of my tours around the world, unique product and toy reviews, Dom DIYs, sensual ASMR, and much more. I post a new video every Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and I also give alternative lifestyle advice when I live stream every week on Sunday. You must be subscribed to find out when, as I pop online when I have availability. Turn on notifications by clicking that bell so that you are notified when I have new content coming out, and to engage in my fun community tab, shorts, and stories. Don't forget to follow my Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at Mara Domina for daily news and juicy updates. Okay, so dynamics are a huge part of kinky fun, and I have an explanation on the title Goddess, which I will link at the end of this video for reference. But I never went over all the other titles that I use for myself. Based on a list of a certain membership forum, there are so many roles that one can take on, as well as different types of relationships in which you can label said dynamics. The beauty of this organized chaos is that you can literally be one thing only or multiple things to different people. I won't get into the nitty-gritty of each of these labels, and they overlap significantly with relationship statuses, but I will tell you what I associate myself with. Let's begin by defining the basics. As I mentioned previously, I don't like labels because I very much dislike having to fit myself into boxes that have been preconceived for me. I'm a human being, and as such, I'm composed of complex layers with multiple dimensions influencing my will at every given moment. I understand these labels are there for clarification and ease of understanding, so I have selected mine with careful intention. So, what is a title, dynamic, and relationship? Titles are what a person goes by, such as Mr., Mrs., Miss in the vanilla world, and Mistress, Daddy, and Sir in the kink world. Titles are earned by the dynamic one has with another. Dynamics establish what role you want to take, whether it's dominance, submission, general play, voyeurism, etc. The type of relationship results from the previous two categories. Here's a more existential way of looking at it. Remember how I said as a human being I have many layers? When those layers are exposed to an external force, such as another person, those energies combine and it creates a new form of interaction. Kinky interaction is what we define as play, while the energy combination is defined as a relationship. The dynamic is what status I take when I come into contact with another being. This can be said for animal pets as well. Dynamics establish the direction of a relationship based on the kind of partnership. This is when negotiation comes into play, literally. You have the opportunity to already have a title or titles you would like to be addressed based on your personality, or you can experiment until you decide what you are comfortable with. Let's use mine for an example. I am a dominant, or Dom, spelled D-O-M-M-E because I am female, goddess, mistress, lady, mommy, keyholder, and rope artist. I always knew I was a dominant person, born a Leo, child of the sun, and the eldest daughter of a matriarchal family. I didn't choose to be female, but I find it very agreeable with me and my spirit. Domination is what I do, meaning I'm a natural leader and not just a top who takes on a role solely for play. Goddess is the title for my worshipers who are not into pain or submission in the classical BDSM sense, but who still uphold me in a deity regard. Mistress is appropriate for two reasons. The first reason being the female equivalent to master, aka headmistress, like master of the house, etc. This is a sign of respect and authority at the same time. Mistress also means the lady on the side. I play with singles, couples, people in open relationships, and in secret. Lady is a proper female who has a similar duality as mistress. Ladies could either be consorts or companions. Although I'm not an escort, I have all the skills necessary to conduct every form of play I've consented to. Mommy is a special term for my submissives because I nurture and care for each one of them as if they were one of my own. I do not plan on having children, so there will be no confusion. As a keyholder, I own both pets and control climaxes. Puppies are most common with pet play as me as the owner, and I love to control when my submissives get to release. Owner is a legitimate label, but since puppies wear collars and chastity cages are also locked, keyholder is more appropriate to me. I consider myself more of a rope artist than a rigger because riggers have a healthy obsession for tying and creating knots, safe suspensions, and the works. I find rope fascinating, but it's not my end-all be-all medium of play. As you guys have seen in my short film, Cocoon, I love to make unique art using rope with other materials on people. However, it is still more about the power exchanged rather than just focusing on pretty ties. Note that I am only some of these things to people I play with, not all. Kinksters call me by the title best suited for their interests. So for BDSM scenes, I'm Dominant Mara, and subs may call me Miss Mara for simplicity and less syllables. But I still receive the appropriate term and acknowledgement for respect. There are qualities I have but do not feel the need to use as a title, such as sensualist and sadist. That is how I play, but it doesn't do justice to who I am as a person. Even if I own multiple puppies or subs in chastity, I don't treat all of them the same either. Some puppies are more obedient than others, so the bratty ones get ignored or harsher training, depending on the circumstance. More of the mistress side will come out in that sense because that is my protocol. Protocols are the rules that can be established between dynamics when playing and if you live this lifestyle outside of play. Also, protocols can change at any time based on negotiations because people change. And because people change, dynamics can shift from dominant to switch or something completely different. There is no right or wrong as long as these changes are communicated to all participating parties. Recently, I had a session with a fetishist that has a daddy who is female. Even though I'm a dommy mommy, I didn't want to coddle him, nor do I have that place in his life personally. So I made him call me sir. I have a kink for subs calling me sir, especially if they are men. This guy was to be broken down with ego deflation and reminded of how little of a man he is. Typically, I save this title for military roleplay because it just sounds so much more authoritative than ma'am. And what better way to embody the ultimate male title by being a femme? I don't classify my persona as sir, so I don't include it in my titles, but it is a great mind game and really keeps the boys on their toes. That fetishist got it right the whole time after I established that new protocol. One of the few things that he got right. Master sounds appealing to me, but it doesn't have the same ring as mistress. And I do not like nor use the term slave any longer for obvious reasons. To review, every person has a balance of facets in their energy. When another person is introduced in the form of play and intimacy, The title or titles is the role or roles of the dynamic or dynamics they take on with each other, and their interaction is called play. Dynamics establish the relationship and they can stay the same or evolve over time. I have 7 titles that I can go by, but depending on the person I'm playing with or own, one title is more appropriate than the others, and that is what kinksters end up calling me. There are titles I take on because I have a kink for the gender bending angle that comes with the masculine terms as a female, and there are qualities that I have in my playstyle that don't define who I am, but are just as valid. I hope this gives you a bit more of an insight on where I come from and how vast the kink world can really be, with infinite combinations and evolutions in time. Last side note, don't let those titles define who you are either as a person. You should be defining what the title means to other people. If you like this video, share it so that others can learn about titles and dynamics. Subscribe, and if you haven't already, click that notification bell so that you know when I post next. Follow my social media at Mara Domina, and until next time, be safe, have fun, and keep it kinky, everyone. Oh man, I haven't used this background for a really, really long time, but luckily it's a lot cleaner and more aesthetically pleasing.